there was only one course of the medication in Liberia, and they had been given instructions not to share it. There's high fever.
104, 105?
Yes. It spikes, it drops. You're just totally exhausted. Dehydration, vomiting, diarrhea. I ended up having neuropathy in my feet and in my legs. Pain, excruciating pain. And then, of course, there's internal bleeding that's going on. And as the virus takes over in your body, it attacks your organs, your kidneys and your liver, your heart, your brain, everything. And so then a rash appears, and internal bleeding happens, and then in the final stages, there's hiccups, there's external bleeding, red eyes, just, you can't imagine all the different issues that go along with it.
Yeah, we can now see that it looks as though Ms. Writebol is, she's on a stretcher. She is not walking as Dr. Kent Brantley was able to do.
And I remember the night that Dave came in and told me that Dr. Kent and I had contracted Ebola. And there were doctors standing in our living room, and so I went out to speak to them. And they just kept saying, "Nancy, we're so sorry." And my response to them was, "It's going to be okay. It'll be okay." Now,
You were reassuring them.
yes, I had no clue whether I would live or die. I had seen, for the last month and a half that we had worked with Ebola patients, I had seen one survivor out of all the patients that we had. And so I knew what the disease was doing. I saw what it did to people's bodies. And I can't explain to you exactly what I was thinking, other than the fact that if I lived, great. If I died, I knew that I would be in the presence of the Lord. And there was this overwhelming sense of peace, not fear, but an overwhelming sense of peace that the Lord gave me.
Chris Johnson is the president of SIM USA. That's the organization Nancy Writebol was working for in Liberia. As Sanjay mentioned, Nancy is en route. She's going to be back in the United States tomorrow, the second person ever in history with Ebola to be brought on purpose to American soil, and to our knowledge, the second person ever with Ebola to be on American soil.
So they isolated me. So I couldn't be with her, and I couldn't be with anyone else. That contributed to the feeling that, what can I do? God had not abandoned us, and we're going to get through this one way, whatever the outcome. And we knew that the outcome could be that we might lose Nancy.
They had to put me on the conveyor belt, the baggage conveyor belt, in order to get me in the plane, because I was so weak. I could not stand up, and so they laid the stretcher on the conveyor belt. And I remember as that conveyor belt went up, first the medic, he stopped it, and he put his hands around my face, and he said, "Nancy," he said, "we're going to take you home." And he said, "We're going to take really good care of you." But I remember going up that conveyor belt, and it was as if the presence of the Lord just as if he drew very near to me. And I remember just sensing the question the Lord asked me, "Am I enough? Am I enough?" And I remember saying to the Lord, Lord, just help me, help me. And yes, you are enough. And I remember the hardest part of it being saying goodbye to David. Not knowing if we would see each other again this side of eternity. But again, there was just this wonderful, great peace that God gave. And I had no clue whether I would survive that flight. And thankful I did, and thankful for what God has done, and for just the way He's worked in all of this. After Kent and I received that, 3 more courses of ZMAP went to Liberia and was given to Liberians. A doctor, a PA, and a nurse. 2 of them survived, 1 of them did not. There was no guarantee that we were going to survive either. When the scientist, when the doctor came to my window to explain to me what the drug was all about, she told me, Nancy, this drug has never been tried on humans. It is possible it will take your life.
We're also hearing from Ebola survivor Nancy Writebol for the first time. Jeff Glore talked to the aid worker about her near-death ordeal and her recovery. That's good news.
I do remember the day the doctor walked into my room and said, Nancy, you've turned the corner. But it was probably about 10 days into having been at Emory. I'm regaining my stamina, walking the beach. It was really good to just be able to walk the beach again.
She's still the loving, caring woman that I married 40 years ago, and it's just been a great privilege and an honor to. Yeah, the best part about my life is I get to hang around her.
Do you want to go back to West Africa?
We are going back, and we're looking forward to going back really soon. We live in a country of 4.4 million people who before Ebola only had 50 doctors. Only 5 medical students a year graduating. Doctors, 5 doctors a year graduating from the university. Seize the moment of whether it's when I'm with people, making sure that relationships really count and are really important, and making sure that the passion of my heart, which is to share Christ, that I'm doing that. And I think appreciating each other and not taking anyone for granted, but being gracious and grateful, living in gratitude for what God has done, and living in gratitude for life. I mean, how can that not change your life? I've been doing really, really well.